All right, this is the beginner's room. Let's get after it. How's everyone doing? Good. Albert, good morning, my friend. Chris, we've got a packed house today. What's going on? Rhea, good morning. Florida, what's up, my man? Keith's in the house. What's up, dude? Daniel, hello. Russ, what's up? Yeah, still piling in. So give it just a few more minutes here before we get started, and we'll get after it. All right. Good morning, Soshi. Awesome. If you have some tickers, throw them my way. We'll get them added to the list here. Get rid of some of these from the previous day. There we go. Ross says, Logi. Sweet. Lucian, what's up, my friend? Did I mess that up? I think that messed up. There we go. I never pressed that enter button. All right, let's get after it. Let's get to the markets and we'll get going. As always, feel free to ask any questions you'd like. And we will take our time and get them answered. If I don't get to your answer after a few minutes, just repost it back in the chat pane, refresh that so that I can see it again. So the chat pane tends to fill up fast. All right, so the SPY, a big day yesterday, ended up closing pretty much right at the gap fill. And then we are gapping up, but still inside the range of the previous day, unless that wick is false. 432.37. Nope, that wick is not false. All right. So hanging out. So far in the pre-market, this does look pretty strong. You're getting a lot of dips and a lot of buyers. There has been some profit taking up here at the high of yesterday. So that's definitely going to be a line we're going to want to pay attention to and see what happens volume wise and price action wise while we get up here. If we can push above that pre-market, that would be very strong. Look really good. So I think some bears will be trapped if we break out of this, and it probably keeps following this trend of bouncing off of the 50. So we will see what it wants to do. Today very well might be just an inside candle. If that's the case, we're going to be pretty patient and try to find something that looks different than the markets. Another option I'm kind of looking for, since this was such a big day, it would make sense for a retest about 50% of this candle. So maybe a pop-up early above the high of yesterday and then a quick trap. If we can get that, that'd be a good entry for a short. So let's keep an eye on that one. In fact, we'll go ahead and write that little note on our screen for bull trap Ulan. All right. So we're going to keep an eye out for a bull trap on that. It could play out pretty nice. The Qs. Qs are actually gapping down a little bit. Again, just an inside candle day today. So it might be a slower day on the day trades possibly. But hopefully we can go out there and find some stuff that's looking different than what the markets are currently posting out there. Let me get this scan rock and rolling while we're talking. And then I'll go over all of my gaps that have pulled up on it. All right. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Good stuff. Let's get to it. All right, so again, Qs are just an inside candle. Nothing crazy happening. Actually looks a little bit weak, right? You had a nice pump earlier this morning and then fell down. What did the futures look like overnight? Looks pretty strong for the SPY. Yeah. It does. It's had a nice little pullback. we'll see how well that plays out. Lori, good morning. Thank you for being here with us. As always, I'm going to try to just take my time. If there's something I say that you are like, I don't know what that means, feel free to ask. That's why we're here. I'm happy to teach, happy to learn. We're not going to be doing a whole lot in the first 30 minutes of the market. Again, yesterday I gave out some golden nuggets, some tips of how to be successful when you're first starting out. It all seems a little bit overwhelming, foreign language. So just slow things down. We'll take our time. It's going to be okay. You can get this. Anyone can get this. Anyone can learn how to do this. It's a skill that's acquired, not a gift you have to have. So anyone can learn this skill, and that's why we're here to help you along your path of learning the skill. Okay. All right, let's jump over to the few of those that we were looking at yesterday and see what kind of follow through we are getting. So Chewy had a really great day 2 days ago. Yesterday on a retest gap, it retested the 10 and got bought up. And then we finished pretty much above the high of that previous day. Today's gap is just an inside candle. So we most likely rest today and it just hangs out. So I don't think a whole lot on Chewy is going to be happening. Let's lower that one down on the list. IBM absolutely got wrecked on that gap up. It was a big gap up into a pretty decent resistance, so it makes sense people will take their targets. This is what I'm looking to see if the markets will do today. Poke their head up above that support zone or resistance and then fail it. Let's see if that plays out or not. We're right at that spot. We tried to short it yesterday here and got a small win. I still think people take their profits, and if the bears are going to show up, this is the location that they're going to do it in. All right, so Peloton is another one that we looked at yesterday. Good gap up, inside candle today. Again, most likely a resting candle. Pin Duo is still at a great buying spot. No real gap up, small gap down, but let's jump out to an hourly and just get an idea of volume that's come in. We're getting some good volume on the previous day, back on the 19th. Back in this area. Some here, nice little bounce, rotating back up. We'll see. This could be an opportunity for a continuation on that, but there again, inside candle, nothing really special happening with it. Lulu, nothing really. AMD, we trade all the time. Let's get an idea of what AMD is trying to do. AMD with a great bounce off of that 20 EMA, or 50, I'm sorry. And we are gapping up against an inside candle. So we'll probably run up. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at the 20 EMA up here. 87 and 85-ish could be interesting. So AMD possibly, but it is just an inside candle with earnings are coming up. So it's going to start hedging their bets on that. Dash, again, just like our Chewy trade, right? Quite a few bull candles that are really strong, good moving candles. Yesterday was a nice retest gap. It held strong just like you'd want it to off of that support. And now we're basically not gapping at all. So again, I do think we could find a continuation play in this. This can play out. Pre-market is incredibly light. So there's really not much you can go off of gaps, because even if a gap looks good, it'll probably just go right back to where it opened. But let's keep an eye on this one. We'll see. It looks tradable. It does get a little bit spready at times, but this could be a good one for some sort of continuation play. Monty and Debbie, good morning. PCG. It looks like this one is also an inside gap. So we talked about that yesterday quite a bit. Whenever we're opening right here, so that is inside. The high of yesterday was there and the low of yesterday was here. Whenever we open up in that, we don't really have any new information, so to say. Right? The bulls couldn't get above that and the bears couldn't get below that, and we're still here. So now the same holds true if we're going to retest that, see if we can get through that and break. I do like the compression building though, because you had a nice big old range candle there. You had an inside candle yesterday, and now it looks like there's a potential for another inside candle today. These tend to be very trappy. Whenever they look bullish, they go bearish. Whenever they look bearish, they go bullish. So you need to have pretty aggressive entries on these inside candles. Don't wait for any confirmations on there. You need to be front running those things. Back into a support zone here. Again, we'll add this one, but they tend to be pretty tough trades. Overall sentiment is bearish, back into a support zone. We'll see how this thing plays out. CLVT. CLVT. All right, we are clearing the range of yesterday, and we're trying to clear a little pivot, which is nice. We're only up 1.7%. Earnings are coming up. How spready is this guy? So, Albert, this is interesting. The only problem with this is that whenever you get these little dotted lines on the pre-market, right when the market opens, it'll most likely just go boop, and it will open like right there. And you'll be like, oh, it was a good gap until right now. So, yeah, it's one of those where it could be a great gap, but most of the time it's not great. We can keep an eye on it though. See if it actually does open up there, it'd be pretty good. All right. Talk is pretty decent. It's outside the range of yesterday. The volume is barely enough for me to trade, especially as a group. I want something that's pretty liquid. It's a good volume move here in the pre-market. That's what we want to see. You actually want to see some volume in the pre-market. It's a lot like what it did yesterday. Big run up, and then we ended up just opening up here. So see if this plays out the same way. Big run up, and then if we just open up right inside that inside candle there. Again, we can keep a look at it, keep an eye. But there is quite a bit of resistance right in front of us as well. And this is what we're going to start to run into right now in the pre-market. So again, I guess that the pre-market is going to probably push back down into there. So we'll watch it. Again, what we're looking for on gaps are people that are trapped. We're looking for a stock that's had an awesome big old couple bull days and then a gap below all of it. So people wake up this morning, they're like, whoo, I'm up $6,000. I'm holding so I can make 10,000. And then they look at their charts and like, I'm down 12 grand. And then they freak, right? People's emotions are really predictable. And that's the type of gaps that we're looking for. So far on the markets, we're an inside gap, unless that's changed. I don't think it has, which most likely is going to be very trappy. When things look really bullish, like there's a nice double bottom, they'll go out really, really good for about 10 minutes and then fall down and stop everyone out. And then it'll go bearish for a while. And then as soon as it looks bearish, it'll kind of figure out and then start ripping bullish. So there are days when to trade and days when to sit back and learn some new stuff. But we want to find stuff that's not just a continuation play, but that's really trapping people. Who is stuck, right? That's that trigger for a good move on a day trade. Who is stuck? So for swing trading, you want continuation plays, right? Something like this is a nice setup, possibly for a swing trade, back down into a support. A lot of bear movements. If we go to a weekly chart, it's a lot of bear candles coming in. And we're working on this nice little pivot down here for this week, right? Trying to hold this trend line that's trying to form. So that's nice for day trading. You really want people trapped. Now you can day trade these things. I do all the time. But the really good moving day trades are the ones that people wake up and emotions are just flooding through them. We can read those emotions by putting ourselves in their shoes and trade with that. So like if we were to have bought Boeing yesterday and on this gap, would I be selling everything that I own of Boeing? No, but it does look good. I don't even think I'd be taking any profits. Probably not till we get up into some EMAs or resistance. I guess we do have a resistance here. Maybe that might go into effect for some people. For me, I wouldn't take any profits here. I would probably be holding out for something back up into 225 and there before I took some profits. So that's what I would do. I imagine some people will be taking some at this resistance. We'll find out how strong of sentiment that really ends up being. So giving yourself a little bit more perspective on a daily, then jumping into a 5-minute and realizing that this is where we are. That resistance is sitting right here. We tried to poke up above it, failed it, and we're bouncing right here off of the 60 EMA on a 5-minute. We've done it pretty well. So might be a potential entry again if we get back down there. So my thoughts on Boeing is big volume, you said, coming in. Uday, was that like pre-market? Or was that on a daily? For when yeah, big down day. Yeah, that's gonna be the catalyst, I think, right now. We're gonna have some bull days running back up and then probably move down lower again on Boeing. Win7 says you have many weekly resistance. How many weeks do you have to go back? I just look for 3 wicks. I look for 3 interactions and the same area. Okay. So remember, a support or resistance area, it's not so much a line as it is a zone. It's more like this, not necessarily a thin little line we put on our charts. Okay. So I look and see how many wicks are in this area. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have at least 7 in this area right here. So I know that this is a weekly support, right? I need to have at least 3 or more, and then I consider that a weekly resistance or support, whichever one it was below before. If you just look here, I have 1, 2, 3. See if maybe I can find some more, but that was my weekly resistance there. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there, 6, 7, 8. There's another one there. So that's how I mark my weekly resistances. I use weekly resistances and supports for my levels more than I do my daily. If you go to the daily, there's a lot of areas where 3 wicks come into play right there, right here. You'd have a million lines. I think it respects the weekly a little bit stronger than it does dailies. But for day trading, I do mark all the wicks because it tends to act as some sort of resistance. And if we're just trying to catch a 0.6% move, you're going to want to know if there's a wick on a daily right in front of you. So let's go ahead and mark that right now. There you go. So I like to mark the wicks. That was the point of reversal, and that tends to be the resistance or support depending on where you're at. All right, let's get after it. I'm a little bit behind. I said pivot. What the heck is that? Pivot is a place where price changes direction. So all of these wicks, this is a daily chart. So right here, this was during this day, we ran down, hit this level, and immediately bounced. So this is a support now because we bounced off of that. And then if we keep repeating that on multiple days and we keep bouncing off of that level, it keeps building in strength of how strong that support will be. So if we get below that, this strong support will now be a strong resistance. So this is what I was talking about with Boeing. If we pull back up into here, you have all this resistance, all these wicks hanging out here that acted as strong support are now going to act as strong resistance to possibly roll us back down. Cool. All right, MSTR. Stephen, of course, my friend. Is this for a day trade or a swing trade? Are you in this? Do you want to be in this? My thoughts on this is the volume is incredibly light to day trade. I need at least 1 million. Is very spready. Also on a stock that gaps like literally every single day, pretty much. Gaps don't carry the same amount of emotion as a normal stock. Like a stock that is very fluid and consistent and then all of a sudden has a random gap has more emotion behind it than a stock that gaps every single day. The people that hold this stock are very used to gaps. Gaps don't scare them because it does it almost every day. So this one I would most likely pass on. We go to a 5-minute. What you don't want to see on a 5-minute chart if you're going to day trade it are gaps right here. You don't want that. That's telling you that it has random moments of spreadiness. So what does spready mean? You have a bid and an ask, and you have a mid. So you have people that are wanting to buy it cheap. You have people that want to sell it expensive, and you have a mid. And either people are like, all right, I want to sell this thing at $1 and no one's buying it. I'm going to sell it at 99 cents. So either someone creeps into the mid, or this other side goes, I want to, or I did that the opposite way, but you get the point, right? So people are trying to sell it for $1. They're not selling it. They go down to 99 cents. They go down to 98 cents. They go down to 97 cents until someone finally buys it. That's what the mid is. The mid is this halfway point. So if you have a spread that is this wide, what's going to happen is you are going to get jumps because people are going to, all of a sudden, they're going to buy up here, and then they'll go turn around and someone's going to get sold over here. And so you get these really wide ranges that causes random price action. Something that's very tight in the spread, right? Something that's very loose has like a penny spread. So you don't have to go very far to meet the mid. It just kind of bouncing back and forth, right? I'm trying to explain this, and maybe I'm butchering this, but I'm not the master at bid-ask spread and the reasons behind it. But this is the general easy way to understand it, is basically if it's tight, you don't have to go very far to get filled, which means the price stays relatively fluid. If it's a spready stock, the price, someone might buy it at 100, and then someone might turn around and sell it at 105. And so you just get these all over the place things, and then it might actually stand still. So the reason why you get some gaps as well is because the price just isn't going anywhere, right? No one's buying it. Everyone's just waiting for their price to get filled. That's why you get these dots right here in the pre-market bouncing all over the place. Really spready. Okay. All right, markets are open in 6 minutes. At the moment, I don't have anything that I'm in love with. That's a really big part of it. You've got to just be in love with the gap. I'm not in love with any of the gaps. Doesn't mean they're bad gaps. Doesn't mean you can't trade them and make a lot of money. Of course you can. But for me, I am very picky, right? I am only day trading things that I really love, that I can see a reason behind and read the sentiment of, and be able to get myself in other people's shoes of how they're feeling if they were inside that trade. Cool. Rhea says Netflix. I have it on this list somewhere. Netflix gapping down. So one other thing to pay attention to on this, look how far we got down on earnings on Netflix, all the way down to around like 495 almost, 496. And then what happened? Got bought up. So initial earnings on this thing were garbage, right? I think they beat everything maybe, and then failed on, I don't remember what it was. Pushed it way down, really bad. But you had so many buy orders down here from people who are like, if this thing dumps on earnings, I want to own this thing here. This would be awesome. So people bought this thing, and then it just rampaged. So what can we expect? If you bought this thing randomly at 495 and the market's going to open up at 525, what would you probably do? Cha-ching, cha-ching, lock that in, right? So I would say some selling is most likely going to be coming in on Netflix, and then we'll see if things start to get bought up some. Cool. The larger the candle, the bigger the spread? No. Nope. You could have something spready and have nothing move at all. It could literally just be like this. Yeah, the size of the candle doesn't have anything to do with the spread necessarily. Now, the gaps of that candle has a lot to do with the spread. So you might have a small candle here and then a big gap down. That has to do with the spread. But the actual size of the candle does not mean the spread. So if you have a really big candle, that's simply just a lot of transactions happening. A lot of people selling, buying, and moving the price. People coming in to the mid and buying and selling and moving that thing in one direction or the other. Cool. Now this is 4. And if you'd like to learn more about how the markets work and spread and bid ask and all this other stuff that you're asking, Tracy Ball, one of our moderators, sign up for a one-on-one with her. Teach you again, invest in yourself. Don't try to take the cheap route into the markets. You can, but it's going to take you forever. There are YouTube videos out there, but she is our guru when it comes to price action, candles, and bid ask spread. Really, really good, and she explains it so well. I tend to butcher it. It's not my specialty, but you can hop on to Real Life Trading. You don't have to be a member if you don't want to be. Just jump on, join her mentoring group, join, do a one-on-one, whatever you'd like to do. But invest in yourself, learn how to do this stuff. All right, 4. 4 is a gap and go. This one is trapping some people. I like this. Do we have any shorts on this one? We do. I do at least. Okay. So what's the difference? This one's about to open right now, of course, and I'm not going to have enough time to plan this thing out. Let's see if it actually opens down here. So how would you feel if you bought this at $88, it went to 91, and you were like, jackpot. I am up $1,000, baby. Let's go. And then you wake up this morning, and not only are you not up $1,000 anymore, you're down $400. What would you do? Any thoughts? Cry? Freak out? See if it bounces, right? Maybe hold on to it and go, but it will bounce, right? Maybe people are thinking that. So why do things accelerate down? Why is that? Because people that are like, you know what, I'm out. Stops are getting hit right as soon as the market opens, it's going to push it lower. And then as soon as it doesn't bounce, and starts going lower, now people are down $500. Now people are down $700. Now people are down $1,000, and they go, okay, I can't take it, and then they get out, which causes it to push lower, right? So the only downside to this, I said earlier, I need to have 1 million average volume for the 10-day in order to day trade this. So when things are too spready, why don't you want to day trade that? Why? Because if you have, let's say it's easier just to say going long. So if you have your entry here and you have your stop here, remember your stop is not a limit order. It's a market order, meaning as soon as it hits it, you're telling your broker to fill you at any price possible, just get you out of the trade. Well, if it's spready, the next buyers might be at $81. So as this heads down, there we go, hits our stop, instead of getting filled at 84.57 and losing 1R, there is a possibility you get filled at 81 or 82.50, right? Sorry, morning sneeze. I think I hit the mute button in time. So instead of you losing 1R, you just lost 3 Rs because of the spread. But how did we get an idea that this most likely is going down? People's emotions. And if this thing really gets going, what happened? what we just explained a couple minutes ago, right? People holding out and going, well, it'll bounce. Because yesterday they were up. Now they're down and getting crushed, right? So putting yourself in people's shoes will give you an idea. People's emotions. This is the only gap today that I've actually liked. But I'm like, I would trade this, except my rules say I can't. So I'm not going to. And would we have made a couple R's? Maybe. So on gap and goes, I'm on a 1 minute chart. Oh, it did give me a 1 minute candle. Oh, man. So on gap and goes, I have a 1 minute chart. I can show you this trading plan if you'd like me to. I haven't done that yet. I didn't do that yesterday. So remind me later today and I'll pull up and show you my trading plan for gap and goes, my written down trading plan. So stop would have probably been above that pivot and we would have hit 2 R's already. Boom, done. So gap and goes, you either lose 1 R in 5 minutes or you make 2 R's in 3 minutes. I mean, that's pretty much how they go. But they need to be good gaps. They need to actually have people trapped. And so you can see in what, 6 minutes, we just made 2 R's. That's it. You wait for a bullish candle to come in. If you're going bearish, you wait for a bullish candle, you take the breakdown of it, and that would have hit our 1 R. That would have just missed our 2 R, and then we would have gotten filled on that candle there. What's interesting is look at the volume on this one. What was that volume? That is a lot of shorts taking profits combined with a lot of bulls getting in down on a support zone. So I haven't really looked at this on a daily yet to see where we're at, but it makes sense that we'd be at some sort of support. We are. We got a wick there. We got a wick there. We got a wick, 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 and a wick. So this is not a good horizontal line, right? This is a really good support zone. Really good support. And we're down 8%. We're down pretty good. Do stocks just go down 1,000,000% in one day? Sometimes. 99% of the time, they don't. 99% of the time, they will go down to a specific support zone, as you can see there, and then they will get their bounce and then see if they roll back down. This one could go a little bit lower. It is a pretty bad gap and go. Could go a little bit lower. Yes, this one's not tradable, and we would have hit 2 R's on it right away, but my plan said do not take it. All right, let's take a look at the markets. We want to look for a trap above that blue line. Ooh, here it comes. So either we are going to scream out of here and hold this and then keep on going, which would give us a lot of strength, right? That would let us know, wow, okay, we're breaking out of the high of yesterday. What the bulls could not do yesterday, they are doing right now. That's a good candle. I'm going to be patient. Like I said, we're going to wait 20, 30 minutes. We're not going to jump in. Let the stock show you its hand and then find your entry from there. So we already show a lot of strength. But is there something to give you an idea that we should not go long right here? Do you see anything that might? What are some things that are telling you you probably don't want to buy this right now? It looks bullish, Tony. Look how strong it is. Any guesses? There's a couple of them. They're on my screen right now. Yeah, you guys nailed the first one. High RSI. When that RSI is overbought like that, it doesn't mean we're not going to go higher. It just means don't buy it right now. Look for a retest. Okay. If you combine the pre-market move, we've got a lot of bull candles thrown in with one little bear candle there, but quite a few bull candles. Do you want to be buying after 2 bull candles or 3 or 4 bull candles in a row? Nope. You got to wait for that retest to come in. Okay. And then what was yesterday's candle? Was yesterday's candle bullish or bearish? This one right here. Bull candle, exactly. So what type of gap is this? Bull candle that's gapping up. A gap in the same direction as the previous candle. Retest gap, exactly. Yep. So a gap and go is what we just looked at on 4, where it is a bull candle gapping down. All right, all these bulls were profitable, and then they wake up and they're immediately in the red. Scary. This is not scary to anyone. A lot of people bought, and everyone is profitable right now. Okay. Honestly, the markets are showing a lot of strength. A lot of strength. But notice my little note here. I'm still looking for that trap. I'm still being patient. It still does not look great. Qs are just inside. So remember what I said earlier, whenever things look bullish, you go bearish. Whenever things look bearish, you go bullish. That's what makes inside candles really tough, right? We are inside the range of the previous day. So this was yesterday's high up here. So until we get above that, we are just inside the range of yesterday. So whenever things look bullish, you've got to step out in front of it and short it. Will it work? No idea. No idea. But that's how you play inside candles. That's what makes them tough, because there's no confirmation that people like to see. Cool. Let's run through our quick little list and see what we've got going on. Peloton is just an inside candle. So again, when things look bearish, you're going bullish. Pin Duo. Holy crap. So again, we had this in the pre-market. We talked about this. This was your buying spot. This was the support that we respected a few times. And I said we gapped right back down to that support. No matter what, I have to wait 20 minutes or so. So it's not like I was like, well, we could have bought this. Sure. I'm sure the 1 minute looks great, but there's no way I'm playing. Oh, it looks great. There's no way I'm playing a 1 minute on this type of gap. No way. It doesn't make sense. Could you have? Yeah. Would you have been like, oh, well, I totally would have done that? Yeah, sure. Makes you look good. But realistically, I would not have taken this on a 1 minute. I don't play a 1 minute unless it's a gap and go that's actually trapping some people. Everything else, I'm on a 3 or 5 minute. This 3 minute, though, is beautiful. I mean, gorgeous. So we've got the volume that we need. So far, this thing on a 5 minute has been relatively tradable. I don't see too many gaps. There are a few baby ones, meaning, so you can see these right here. So we closed there and opened there, closed there and opened there. Little baby gap. So it does get a smidge spready. But overall, it trades okay. So if this was the entry the first time right here, it's probably the entry the second time. So again, what's telling us right now not to buy right here? But it's going to the moon, Tony. It's going to leave without us. If you put an entry down here, it's probably not going to come back. You're probably going to miss on this trade. So why don't you just buy a breakout above that candle? RSI and more than 2 bull candles in a row. If you see that, can it put in 5 bull candles in a row and just go to the moon? Sure. But you're not buying. You'll go broke doing that. Legion says lots of things flying at the gate, which is a good sign for an intraday pullback. Yeah. I think the SPY traps. I just have that feeling. It might not, and we just go to the moon, but I do feel like the SPY will trap. It was too big of a day yesterday for us to just rampage again. Again, it can do that. I'm not going to put money on it that it will. Okay. So if this was the trade the first time, this will be the trade the second time. And if it misses us, then it misses us, right? So we're going to do a limit entry there with our stop down here. And you notice my stop didn't go right on the bottom of that wick. Does anyone want to know? I mentioned this yesterday. Can't talk to that. I don't know why, but mentioned this yesterday why I don't do this. Tony, why don't you just put your stop right there? This is what everyone does, because then it's a tighter risk reward, right? Yeah. Shorter distance, this thing's got to go. So why don't I put my stop right on that wick? Why do I keep putting it over here? Any thoughts? Too obvious? Albert, yeah, I mean, that is true. It's too obvious. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Don. All those answers are exactly correct. Aggressive, avoiding getting wicked out. Right here is where everyone else's stops are, and you're avoiding the trap. So that way, if it does come down and retest this support, you don't just get wicked out right in time for the bounce, right? Another obvious one is if in order to be profitable, you need to lose small and win big. How can I move my stop up if my stop is right there? Well, I could just move my stop to here, but that's just moving your stop. Your stop needs to be where you're wrong. And right now, at this moment, you are not wrong. The bulls are not gone until we take this out. So if I put my stop right here, I can't move my stop up, which means this is my 1R loss. So if it comes down, I'm going to lose 1R. If I put my stop here and then it's not working and I follow my plan and then I move my stop to here, did I just lose 1R? Or did I lose like 0.6 Rs, 0.7 Rs? I lost smaller. My 1R loss was right here. I moved it up and now I've lost small. Again, being profitable means losing small and winning big. So all of those answers were correct. Avoiding the trap. You don't want to come down just to get stopped out for 1R for it to go to target. And this gives you a chance to lose small. Okay. All right, let me plug this in real quick while I'm talking and see if this even makes sense for a risk reward. So our targets need to be below daily resistances. So real quick before I put our lines on, let's go to the daily chart. We just got into a leap on this yesterday, by the way. Let's find some daily wicks. We've got one there, right? What else we got? Scroll back just a little bit more. Clearly got one there. It interacts with that line 2 more times. That's a strong one. What other ones we have? We've got one there. We've got one a little bit higher, but I'm not going to count that. So now if we look at this, we go to a 5-minute chart. We realize this is probably where our 2R target needs to be. I don't think we're going to go much higher than that. So 103.82. 103.82 is our 1R. Okay. And our 2R is 105.19. Is that below the resistance that we just talked about? Yeah. So this is a good risk reward. And we have our stop loose. If I can get this thing to focus a little bit. All right, we have our stop not right on the bottom of that wick, so we can move it up and lose 0.7 Rs, which is great. That's what we need to be profitable. And how do I know that? Through back trading. I back traded it and realized that if I can lose 0.7 Rs on average and make 1.5 Rs on average, I will be a profitable trader. Cool. And the reason why we're setting this up is off of a 3-minute, this high wave candle here that we broke out on. Okay, so let's go ahead. Everything matches. Let's go ahead and set this one up. Make this an official trade real quick, and then I'm going to jump off. I know I have quite a few questions in the chat room, but let's get this thing going real quick. People are making money, I think, short on Netflix like we talked about. Where the heck is the official day trades? There we go. Duo. We've got 102.45 by 101.08. now that it's in Slack, and get this thing going. This is a limit order for a pullback. All right, our stop's at 101.08. If this goes to 2R without us, we will cancel the trade. 105.19 is our 2R. And 1R, 103.82. Okay, it's in my broker. That's some good volume there on that pullback. It's okay. It's not higher than the opening candle volume. That's right where our targets are. Again, set your targets at pivot points. If my 1R target was up here, there's a chance that this is the high of the day. See, that's what you don't want. Vincent, yeah, good question. So you're allowed to take inside candles. I'm just letting you know those are really tough trades. And the reason why I'm taking it is because of the support that we had yesterday. So this is an area that I've been looking at for a long time, and we keep getting strong price action off of this area right here, right? Bounce, 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 and then bounced again, and we keep getting follow through. So this is clearly a buying zone down here. And so it came down, we opened at this again. We trapped the bears. See that little wick? Trapped the bears and then rampaged higher. So now I am just playing a retest of that. But yes, this is a inside candle. They're tougher trades. And with inside candles, you just need to get in at a really good low price. So we're not buying up here, like that. But they are harder to trade. True that. Our 2R would be just above the high of that of yesterday's candle. All right. We'll see what this thing does. Most likely, it probably bounces there and then leaves without us. That's most likely what's going to happen. And if that does, then that's okay. All right. Let me see. People talking about Tesla. Tesla's a perfect example of inside candle. Yep. So you notice whenever it bounced bullish, that's where you short it. And now that it looks bearish, this is where you go long, maybe even a little bit lower. But it's that same mindset, right? The same mindset of what's trying to do there. This is actually very sideways. So I'd be waiting for some more volume to come in before I made up my mind to take this, especially hanging out. So we actually broke out above that and falling lower. That's what I want the SPY to do, but it doesn't look like it wants to cooperate. SPY doesn't look like it's going to be trapping, everyone. It looks strong now. It could change, but realistically, within the first 10 or 15 minutes, we should have probably pulled back down. We didn't. So it looks like they're going to try to keep on going. All right, let me get caught back up here. AAL. AAL bouncing strong. So again, this is a retest gap, green candle gapping up, and a massive green candle yesterday. So we gapped up, Did we really retest? Nope, not yet. So do not chase this one. This one is very extended. Massive move. So if we go to an hourly chart here, look at the RSI on an hourly. We are up there. It's made a huge move in a few days. I mean, way up there. I can't even get this on my screen here. Currently, we are up 17% in 3 days. So be patient on this one. So Florent, yeah, you're talking about a pullback back down to the 50 EMA on a daily. Let's see, I'm trying to see. My 50 is up above it, but you might be an SMA. No, you have an EMA on there. And it looks like Pinduoduo is going to leave without us. It just put in a higher low. Looking at it on another screen of mine. Ethereum's up 6%. Almost 7. And final buying spot is around 1,600, 1,550. I don't know if we're going to get there. We'll see. Again, everyone, be very cautious buying this bounce on the SPY, in my opinion. I'm not loading the boat on this thing. Oh, on the 5 minute. Okay, that makes more sense. What are we looking for? On AAL. I don't know how I got to this. Pulling back. I would say, look how much volume you're getting up here. Bigger than the opening candle volume. This is a lot of people taking profits and a lot of FOMO starting to kick in. The markets are screaming. We thought we'd go down. People are starting to load the boat. This is a very strong trap. No doubt about it. Really good. But this is not a buying spot because of this movement. So now you need to wait for some sort of pullback to support. And I would probably eye around 20 or so for a buying spot and see if you get a bounce off of that. But yes, this price action is great. Also realize you've got earnings coming up like tomorrow, if that's correct. So, dang it. Looks like Pinduoduo we can go ahead and cancel. PDD, we can cancel that. It didn't quite pull back enough. Pulled back and just rampaged out of there. So I'll cancel that trade. Dang it. That would have been a good trade, but we needed that lower. Even for a swing trade, yeah, be cautious. It does look really good. Just know that whenever stocks put in this big of a move, I mean, we're up 18% in 3 days. Insane. With earnings coming up, you don't want to get into a swing trade the day before earnings anyways, because this thing might gap back down to $12. Who knows? So pass on this for a swing trade anyways. But yes, my friend, this thing is too extended. Wait for a pullback. I'm not saying don't get in it. I'm saying wait for some bear candles to come in, either at $20.50 or $20. One of those two I think are a good spot. Wait for the pullback and then get it. Will it possibly not pull back? Sure. It might gap up 1,000,000% over earnings. Who knows? But you're going to want to wait. So it kind of did the same thing over here, right? Where we rampaged up about 13% almost. And everyone's like, jump on the bandwagon. And you can see this wick right here popped above it, right there. So this guy right there popped up. Let me change colors here. Actually see it. So So this guy right here popped up above it, entered everyone in because of FOMO, came right back down to the buying spot, which where everyone should have, and then it rampaged. There's a lot going on with this, but I mean, this is a great trap. Great trap. Good follow through, just like the markets. The markets had every reason in the world to roll down, and they didn't. At least not yet. But my friends, don't load the boat. This is not the dip. It might be the dip for this month. We might make a new all-time high, but I'm telling you, the dip will come. 400 will play out at some point. We will hit 400. At 400, now it's like, okay, now we can start getting in some stuff. Start loading the boat. John Lee says a $500 mistake. You sold Pinduoduo Leaps instead of a buy. So you sold the calls. Dang, man. Yes. So just so you know, I have a kind of checklist that I have to go through. You closed it, good. That's the right thing to do. Whenever you make a mistake, immediately close it. Don't try to be like, well, it might come back down. Just get out of it. Take your loss, learn your lesson. Make a checklist. So for me, with options, I check the strike. I check the expiration. I checked if I'm selling or opening it, right? And then I can go through and hit the submit. So I have a little checklist I go through that I run every single time just to make sure, because I've lost thousands of dollars not doing it. Clicking a button and being like, oh my gosh, I bought the spread instead of sold the spread. Just one little click can be the difference between $1,000 win or a $3,000 loss. Sucks, my friend. Hey, good news is you caught it and you didn't catch it next week when you're down $3,000, right? Selling a call is probably a naked call is probably the worst strategy in the whole stock market, risk-wise. All right, so let's see what we got here on Tesla. Good volume. That's what we were talking about, waiting for the volume to come in on Tesla. We trapped up, pulled back pretty low, and actually took out the low of the day, which is interesting. And now this thing is screaming. SPY is screaming. So this is not going to play out. This thing is going higher. Qs are still an inside candle. I'm trying to go higher. So they may or not been there with you. Yeah, double check it. And then another, I guess the last little part of mine is once I'm filled, I look at it again. And I do that with everything, with day trades. Right before I'm going to get filled on day trades, just now when I put that entry in, I go over all my targets. Targets are in the right place, my entry in the right place. I'm not shorting it. I'm going long, right? I'm just have your checklist, because press the button wrong time a few times and it's no fun. No fun. The markets are pushing everything up right now. How did we get a sense that there's a chance Netflix would pull down? Just put ourselves in people's shoes, right? I know for a fact people put puke orders on the pre-market or post-market yesterday and got filled and immediately were up, I don't know, 7-8%, depending on where you bought it at. But still, it makes sense that people would be taking profits as soon as the market opens. In fact, I'd have been taking profits in the post-market yesterday. In and out. All right. What's Chewy doing? Chewy's trying. That's not a good candle on volume. It's not the strongest thing a bull could ever do. Dash is hanging out. 4 is chillaxing. Starting to kind of get bought up a little bit. Again, we were down 8%. Which is your Iron Condor is looking better on Netflix. There you go. There you go, my friend. Talk poked its head up and then pushed much lower. Good volume on Tesla. Man, oh man, this thing's big. Same thing on Tesla. Earnings are right around the corner, and this thing has made a 7% move almost in 3 days. Will Tesla probably continue? Sure. But are you buying up here? Wait for a pullback. You just need to find your next support zone. So where's a location where there's quite a bit of wicks? It could be around 650, might be around 655, could be 645. One of these are your buying spots. That's what you're going to wait for. Right? Don't be the person chasing this thing up here and buying it just to have it go good and then crash back down. Apple's an inside candle. I feel like the Qs are not as strong. SPY's already broken out of the high. Qs are still chilling. Inside candle. And Netflix just getting wrecked. Such a good trap, right? Bounced up, got all the bulls in, immediately stopped them out. Yeah. Amen. Just straight rampage, man. Probably not even on the 1 minute. You kind of had that little high wave candle on this guy, almost doji. Other than that, off to the moon. Same thing. We're coming into a resistance right above us. That was a really good horizontal line right there. So we're coming into a resistance here, and I think best case is around 138. That's probably it. AMD. AMD. Again, a good buying spot. I wanted it just a little bit lower. Didn't quite get down to me. It looks like it's going to get going. Earnings are a few days away. Might cause a little bit of price action to happen here. So AMD. Where was the entry on AMD? I guess the only way you could have played this would be really aggressive of a buy the opening range candle. It's probably what most traders did. So where's their targets at? Target 1 is right there. And target 2 is right there. So if we wanted to get in, we need to match our targets with their targets. That needs to be 1 penny higher. So if we got in, I keep doing that. If we got in here with our stop there, our 1R is there. That matches it. 1R is there. 2R is there as well. So, I mean, we could even have done something a little bit different. I'm just trying to get 2Rs at their 2Rs. Perfect. So if you wanted AMD really bad, you're going to want to get a setup where your risk reward is the same setup as the risk reward from the people that got in right in the morning. And in this case, it would be. Our 2R is their 2R. I don't know if our 1R would be it though, but yeah, 1R is a little bit higher up there. We're starting to pull back. We had some good volume on this candle, and we followed it by some bears. But definitely could work. I think this is going to be your setup on AMD if you wanted it. 88.15 by 87.55. For me, I'm going to pass. But that would work. You're matching up with other people's targets. 2R is the same. Let's see what that looks like on a daily. All the way up there. Holy crap. Do we think, what's the average true range of AMD? Gotta open this back up. AMD. average true range is 2.59. Come on. 2.59 is about 89.50-ish. Yeah, so it could get there. 89.32 is our target. That's possible. It doesn't mean that it will, but there is room to go to get there. Fits within the criteria that AMD does. And the question is, will it pull back enough to get you filled? All right, this guy, good volume there, pull back to support. We're done with this one. Nothing left. That was our entry, didn't pull back. And now we put in a higher low, meaning if we take this out to get down to our entry, the bull trend is over with. So cancel it. Neo had a nice pop. Neo had a great pop. Wow. Big move. The end of the, I think 46.55 is probably going to be it for Neo. Yeah, look at the volume coming in already right here on this candle. We're getting some big volume. That is so far the high, I think. Maybe that one got a little bit higher, but very extended on the RSI. We'll pull back and see if strength keeps coming in. I think 46.55 is as high as they'll get today based off of the daily resistances. There's just a lot of resistance there, and that's a big move. Boeing with a good move. Yeah, just be cautious. It's up into that zone where we talked about. We're at the resistance level where it's possible that it rolls back down. Like I said, big volume, a gap down. This could be the pivot point, right? This could be the bounce spot. Let's look at this on a weekly just to get a little bit more perspective. This is a decent spot. It's just trying to form the little trend line. This week, Boeing could go a little bit higher, 227. It's just last week was so incredibly weak. I wouldn't be super excited to go bullish on this. I mean, you had a great hammer on a weekly a couple weeks back, and then immediately blew through that and then closed strong down. That's not good. That's not strong. You took out and closed below a higher low on a weekly. That should have held. So if Boeing was going to be really strong, it should have held this. Should have done that. This should have never been taken out. 220 should have never happened. So we took that out, gap down on a weekly, and yes, we're getting bought up, but I'm not convinced. I think Boeing probably, if anything, Boeing will at least for the next week or two roll down back down to like 215 and then see if we high or low out of there. But I would be shocked if Boeing just took off from there. It's just not super strong. But with that being said, long term, this is a great day trade move. I completely agree, Uday. This move is super strong. Stronger than I expected it to be. Same thing on the SPY. This is way stronger than I expected it to be. I thought we would put a few candles up here and then immediately sink back below this resistance. And by the way, I'm still kind of hesitant on this. Again, this wick doesn't exist. We got to get rid of that wick. The broker has that on their false. But filled the gap, pushing higher. Let's go to a weekly chart and see where we're at. Bounced right off the 10 EMA on a weekly. We've done that before. We'll see. We will see what it wants to do. All right. Tesla pulling back down on some volume too. That's a pretty mean trap. Very sideways on Tesla. Apple getting walked down. Really cool convergence on the RSI. Netflix is getting steamrolled. A lot of buy orders getting taken out. Where's my spot that I want to do a bull put spread on? Earnings already happened, so I'm open to do one now. We are coming into a neckline. And what price did we bounce on that pre-market? Oh, come on. We bounced it around 498. So maybe I put an alert somewhere around here. I do love this bigger volume coming in, though. Do a bull put spread down there. Will we get down there? That's the question. And how are we on a 4-hour? 4-hour RSI is almost there. So close. A little bit more. As soon as my 4-hour RSI alert goes off, I will do a bull put spread on Netflix. Keep on coming down. Oh, I've got a monthly email right there. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. STX for a fade from Vincent. And the monthly's coming into a good buying spot. It's relatively beat up. 4 hours getting oversold. So it does look. So when you're talking about fade, are you talking about, and so you're talking about a bull fade, or that's what I'm guessing since we're gapped down and you're talking about maybe taking it bullish? I don't know. If I was going to fade this, maybe it's already happened. Maybe it's already gotten there. Probably rolls back down. If you wanted to fade this guy, you do an entry somewhere in this range, I guess. I like to see a new low come in before the fade really holds. And that hasn't happened yet. So maybe this gets one more low and then starts to finally bottom out a little bit. I don't think this is going to be a big move, though. Got a little bit more to go. That's my thought right there on that, Vincent. TS says, is there a schedule for today? What do you mean by schedule? Like who's going to be on the mic? Or schedule as in what are we planning on talking about in the next like 15 minutes? Something like that. Let me know exactly what you mean so I can answer that better. Sorry, it's hard to talk through a chat. So it's my fault. I just want to make sure I'm not what's happening when. Again, are you talking about like for when the duration that I'm on the mic? Or are you talking about like what's happening throughout the rest of the day with different people coming in and stuff like that? Education. Sorry, still hasn't quite answered it yet. So are you talking about TS? Like, are you saying when am I planning on just start teaching during this session right now? Or are you talking about are we having educational classes this afternoon? That's it. So when am I teaching? Man, I can teach whenever you want. Start asking some questions. Whenever you want. Here's this for me. Who's on for the week? If you go to reallifetrading.com and then click on live trading, I'm pretty sure, and then scroll on down, you have a trading schedule here. So you can look at like a week. So you got Jeremy Newsom, the other one that got me. 12 o'clock, you have Dan Jensen coming in. I'm jumping over to the other room. Yeah. Kind of get an idea throughout the rest of it. And then we have the afternoon swing trading room. All the times are Eastern. So you're welcome. But yeah, TS, man, ask me any questions you want. I'm happy to teach whenever you want. Whatever you want to learn, my friend, throw it in there. And Tesla's just getting really, really choppy. Peloton with a pretty nice reversal. Same thing on Peloton, just really extended. This is an inside candle. So if it's an inside candle, you need another reason, a little bit more sentiment behind why you're doing what you're doing. This is kind of just floating out in space. We're not on top of a really amazing support. I mean, there is a support, but it's moved up a ton, right? Pinduoduo was down on top of a support, even though it's an inside candle. I had reasons to go long based on price action from the previous day, right? So as soon as I saw this big old candle come in right at that price of where we've bounced multiple times yesterday, the price that we bought our leaps, it's like, all right, this thing is clearly respecting it. It had another reason to go. It just never quite pulled back. So again, we want this low to hold 103. If this doesn't hold, then that means the bull move is done. And we're going to start some sort of bear move until that's taken out, and we'll start it up again if it wants to. But AMD, oh, it did come back to the entry. So again, I'm not taking this as an official trade, but this would be the entry that I would probably do. Pulled back down. We did get some volume coming in. That's good. Now we'll see if we get going. So our 1R target on this setup is right there. Apple trying to get some strength happening here, but pay attention to the volume. Look at this volume. Nothing sauce on this whole little bounce down here. So that tells me we'll get a nice little bounce, and then we'll probably not sustain it. You really want to see some volume on a reversal. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in here on a reversal pivot that shows some good volume. Not really. And this is what I'm talking about. It starts to bounce, and then it just kind of fails and works its way straight back down. Not really any volume to stand out on Apple. Thoughts on Pin's longer term swing. I would wait until earnings passes. We're in earnings season, so it kind of disrupts a lot of this longer term stuff. It's fun to day trade. Pins could get going in this spot. This is a buying spot, no doubt. No doubt about it. Gotta love the weekly trap. We've pulled back to support. This is a good spot to buy, I think, on pins. Could go lower, but I like it. The only issue is I would hold off until after earnings. Just in case earnings makes them go down to here and you're like, man, I'm stuck right here in this thing. AMD. Again, the reason why I'm not taking this day trade on the daily, I just feel that we're too extended. We did have a good pullback yesterday, but still, percentage-wise, that's a lot. With earnings coming up, tends to cause people to take profits after a move. I don't know how much more sustained we'll try to get, but if I were to do it, this would be the setup. Setup, stop, target 1, and then target 2 is at 2R with everyone else. This is a good bounce, though. I like the volume increase at this low. So that's good. Just don't really trust it. Rob says you're not convinced. Yeah. All right. We did get a bigger volume on a new high, I'm pretty sure. Yep, by a penny. And we've pushed away from it a little bit. So we'll see what happens here. Again, on this move, I'm not convinced. I think this is trapping out the this is weeding out the weak bears, is what this is. The weak bears are going, oh, frick, and they're running for the hills. And then it's going to roll down. That's what this is, I think. Based off of the gap, I could be completely wrong, but based off of this terrible gap that came in, I mean, this gap was bad. That was a big gap, taking out tons of higher lows and breaking supports and resistances, especially even on a weekly chart too. I mean, it's not good that we took out that pivot on a weekly, but we're getting bought up pretty strong. It could bounce. For me, I don't trust it. Jeremy is setting up a trade on AMD, pretty much the exact same setup that I have on here. Said for me, it's not enough to take, but the risk reward works. Let's see here. He is doing 88.08. So he's getting in just a little bit lower. 88.08. By 87.58. A few pennies off of what we're doing. So that's good. So that should give him a 1R at that high. Yeah, that probably is a little bit better. At least now you have a 1R at the high. And then your 2R should be less. Yeah, 2R's there when everyone else's 2R's there. We'll see if that plays out. Again, for me, I'm going to pass on AMD on it. Tesla's still just messing with people. Apple, it's a good break. It's a good move. Don't really fully trust the volume on it, but who knows? These markets are pretty screwy. Q's making good steppings higher. That's a good move on Q's. You're getting volume on every one of these buying dips. One there, one there. Looks good on Q's. Haven't looked at Disney in a hot minute. That's not good. So this should have been the bouncing spot on Disney. So when it doesn't do what it should do, usually bleeds for the rest of the day. Fastly, it's looking pretty decent. Fastly, a strong move. A lot of bull candles into some EMAs and resistances. So again, probably going to dump back over. That's what I'm guessing. CCL, good move, good gap on CCL. Still too extended again for me to want to take. Same story. Everything looks exactly the same right now. Everything. Just don't get too caught up on these bounces. Chewy looks the same. Dash looks the same. Just chilling. Looks pretty good. IBM is just an inside candle hanging out. Peloton still just an inside candle. So whenever it looks bearish, you're going bullish. And now that it looks bullish, you're looking for bearish. Netflix getting wrecked. All right, so we're pulling down into this guy. Is my 4 hour there yet? Man, it's close. Possibly look at setting up a bull put spread on Netflix. I have to hustle just a little bit. So I can sell anything below 485. It'd be nice to use 480 as an alert and maybe sell. I have to sell 460. I don't know if I can get anything there. Nope. I cannot. Let's go out one more week. Yeah, 460 still doesn't pay. 60 is just not enough, but that's where I like it at. I could do the 480 if I wanted. About 465. Does that pay anything? It does. It pays enough. It's not amazing though. 470 pays something. Yeah, like 470. It'd be tough to hedge that. So Halfwing's like, I might as well just sell the 475. Get paid more. I mean, we're pulling into the buying spot right now on Netflix. This is getting close. There's the double bottom on a weekly. Retesting that. 475 is right there. All right. Yes, can for sure. I can show you that trading plan in just 2 seconds. Still, IV's getting a little bit better, which is nice. A lot of these, they're not down at like 2% on the percentile. I'm just trying to see what my game plan would be. How would I do this? guess just buy calls if we got down there. Yeah. All right. Get this official here. We're going to be doing the 475 strike. We'll put spread. $475, 470 expires August 27th. And let's go for 0.95. What the heck just happened? The credit spread around here. Take a screenshot of that. All right, now I go to my broker and get this thing on 0.95. See if I can get filled on this quickly or not. Order filled. Oh, right away. Sweet. Good stuff. All right, in a bull put spread. Yeah, this is an official bull put spread on Netflix. 475, 470 for August 27th, around a month out or so, a little bit longer. And the game plan with this guy is we will buy some calls. 478 to hedge. All right, let me go over to my 5K account challenge now. Of course. I'm also going to do this on my there we go. Do this on my 5K account challenge as well. So I'm going to have two on this, except I sold the 470 to be a little bit different and safer on this guy. Holy cow, already getting going. Let's go. $470, $465. Filled at 0.75 limit. Expires August 27th. Got two of those on there, which I normally don't do, but this is a great setup. Gotta love it back into this neckline of the double top. I'm sorry, double bottom, and I've got a good game plan to hedge if that's the case. So good volume coming in here. Question is, do I want to swing trade this? I'll probably pass, just do the spreads. Okay. Go to my trade journal real fast and get these in there. And then I'll be done. We can get back to normal. Sorry. So FLX. We got paid $9.50 for that. Cool. All right, let me get back into this guy. Sorry, let's look at that trading plan real quick. My gap and go trading plan. I promised I would show that. All right, so this is my gap and go trading plan. So with any trading plan, you are going to have, for me at least, I have three different sections. I have rules, what needs to be met in order for me to even consider a setup on this, right? And most of the time it has to be something with some volume. And stock must be above $10. The gap can't be more than 7%. People must be trapped, right? So I kind of gave some more definition what that is, like a strong bear daily candle and then gapping up, stuff like that. Something that gives you clear edge. People are clearly trapped. Put yourself in their shoes. So the entries is a 1 minute chart, and you're going to take the breakout of the opening candle in the opposite, if it's in the opposite direction. So for example, on, let me go back to this. Was it 4? Is that what it was? The heck was it? Yeah, 4. So if we go to a 1 minute chart on this guy, the gap was down. So we're looking for a 1 minute bull candle. We got it. Okay, there's our 1 minute bull candle. So now we can set this up. Okay. So we're going to take the breakout of the candle with the stop above or below whatever we have pre-market support. Okay. So that means this right here. So we're going to take the breakdown of this candle. I got to turn on extended hours. There we go. I got all jacked up. We're going to take the breakdown of that. And then my stop goes above the pre-market support resistance. So right there. Okay. So there's where my stop would go. This is where my entry would go up here. And 2 hours is right there if I can get on it. Okay, so we're going to leave the entry open for 10 minutes. If we don't get filled on that, then we cancel the trade. We look for a better entry on 3 minutes, or if it went up through our stop without triggering us in. So once we're in the trade, we take 10% at 1 hour and the rest at 2 hour. If your 1 hour is hit in under 3 minutes, you can move your stop to break even. If your 1 hour is not hit in the first 3 minutes, you can move your stop after an S curve on a 3 minute chart for the first 30 minutes of the day. After the 3 minute, you can move it on an S curve of 5 minutes until your 2 hours hit. You can adjust profit targets to remove risk if the trade is not doing what was asked of it. Cool. I got a 43% win rate on this strategy, and this strategy is very profitable. Right on. So that's how that's played. Cool. Any other questions? It's quiet in the chat pane. I mean, too quiet. I think I put everyone to sleep. I'm sorry. Well, what do you want me to talk about? Questions. This is your chance. Jump on it. It's free. Yeah. Let me show this real quick. There's a trading plan right there, my friend. Hurry, take a screenshot. It'll also be on YouTube. As soon as yes, I have to be quick. As soon as the 1 minute candle closes, I set up the trade. You got to be very fast on the gap and go, which means you also have to determine if your risk reward makes sense. A lot of the times your opening range candles like this big, and so it's like a 1 R would be down here and a 2 R's here. So it doesn't make sense on a daily. So you have to do very quick. So most of the time what I'll do is, it's really hard to do on the mic, but if I'm just trading, I have my broker open. As soon as the candle closes, I'm gonna kind of cue this and get my entry there, and then my stop would go there, and then I just wait for the candle to close as I'm figuring out where my targets would be if they make sense. As soon as the candle closes, I make it active in my broker. You gotta be quick. On the mic, it's really tough because I've got to take a screenshot, tell everyone my entries, put it into Slack, and then go in my broker, do all of that. It's almost impossible, but I've made it happen before. Not easy though. Jess says, tell me how you use the training on the website, where to start, and then next. Good question. So we have an actual beginner's course on real life trading. Online courses right here. It says go beginner's trading course. Click on that. You can sign up for that class. And this is kind of what you look to do here. That's where I would start. And then go to intermediate, and then go to advanced. And then from there, depending on what you want to do, if you want to learn options, do you want to learn swing trading, jump in and go through that. That's what I would start. Live trading, and then go to sorry, online courses, not live trading. I already screwed up. So do that, and then you can just do beginner trading, intermediate, advanced, day trading techniques, futures, whatever you like. We also have a RL Kids, which is free, amazing, right? Help kids learn how to trade the stock market. How cool is that? Change their lives at a young age. Get them the knowledge so that they can get moving. If you are new to trading, would you start with swing or day trading? Given you could do both. It all depends on your personality, my friend. I would, if you, with day trading, you'll have to have more of a handle on emotions. I would say day trading is a little bit tougher to do than swing trading, but it's very possible. You can make really good money either way. Matt DeLong makes crap tons of money swing trading, doesn't even day trade. Jeremy makes a lot of money swing trading and day trading. I have other traders in the group that just make money day trading. They make a lot of money. You make a lot of money on anything, but you've got to figure out what works for you. If I would give you any suggestion, I would start with swing trading. Do both if you'd like. Again, day trading just happens so quick, and it tends to trigger more emotions because you have less time to think about it. Darian, what's up? Says Tony, when you set up your day trades, do you set up OCO orders with your stop loss first and then second targets once all your at once, or you manually manage the trade? No, I have all my OCOs in. So I have my stop and all my targets in before I'm triggered in the trade with OCOs. It says, what strategy would you suggest for a newbie like me? Ken, if you want a day trade, I would suggest doing a retest gap strategy. If you want a swing trade, Momo is a great one. Simple. You can find all of that stuff on our website. And then, yeah, we've got really cool master classes and stuff too. He says, does the kids course help adults too? Sure. Yeah, it's all just the basics of the markets geared towards kids, but totally watch it. Yes. Ken says, I wish I knew this stuff in my 50s. Well, you're learning it now, man. When's the best time to plant a tree? 100 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now. So you're on it now, my friend. Yeah, it is an awesome skill. Something I'm glad I found early in life. Yeah. It says, if you're trading stuff that moves fast, I keep missing my limit orders. Do you like getting stopped into trades as opposite into limit orders so you don't miss the trade? It depends on the setup. Either one. I'm okay missing the trade, and that's where it comes down to. It's just some experiences. You've got to just not care. It's okay if I miss out on the trade. It's okay if I get stopped out on the trade.
all of the scenarios just don't care on. If you are, yes, if you're in stuff that move fast and you're trying to get in with a stop limit order. Okay, I was drawing this little thing. So stop limit means you're trying to buy the break out of this. So if we got back up above that little pivot, that would be awesome, right? Super strong, everything great. So you put in a stop limit order. Well, your stop limit consists of two different things. You have a stop and you have a limit. So if you're scared of getting missed on those, you can always increase the distance of them. That'll help because your broker can only fill you in between these two. So if it jumps up and there's no one willing to sell you at $100, then you'll get skipped on it, right? Whereas a limit has its trade-offs of it might not pull back, it might just go. But a limit's nice in the fact that you're not going to get skipped on. If it pulls back, your broker will fill you at that price or any price lower. So each one has its positives and negatives. Negatives of a stop limit is a chance of being trapped and immediately ran down. Whereas if you're doing a limit play, you'd be like, all right, that never even closed above it. I'm not going to set it up. Right. So each one has their positive and negatives. Hopefully, yes, that's what you're asking. But everything has a pro and a con to it. It just depends on what fits your style. Can you explain the possible outcomes of your Netflix trade? Of course. By the way, I need to pin this real quick before I forget also. Pin the channel. There we go. Let's go, Netflix. Keep that bouncing happening. Come on. So a bull put spread, it's a more advanced strategy. You have a very high win rate, but you're risking a lot. So, oh, I forgot to write that in there as well. Let me do this real quick. People trying to set up this trade and they're asking me questions. Give me 2 seconds. Cool thing about bull put spreads and a few bad things about bull put spreads. Okay, so we sold, let me go to the other chart, I guess that's where it's at. All right. Alrighty then. So we sold the bull put spread at 475 and we bought the 470. What the heck does that mean? Simple terms, as long as the price stays above this, above 475, you win. So the price can go sideways, the price can go higher, the price can go lower. You just don't want it to go straight down for the duration that you have this. So by August 22nd, 27th, as long as Netflix is above 475, you win. That's pretty cool, right? So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect on your entries. You're like, well, is this the bottom? I know it's pretty beat up. This is a good support, but could we go a little bit lower? And if you were to just buy calls, meaning it has to go up to make money, just like buying shares. If you were to buy calls or shares, it has to go up to make money. Spreads, like bull put spreads, are really cool in the fact that it doesn't have to go up to make money. They can go up, they can go sideways, they can go down, they can go really down. It just can't go straight down. All right. This is the only no-no. Everything else you win. Netflix can come all the way down to 485 and hang out and then slowly bounce and I win. You go up and I win. All right. So it's cool. It gives you some buffer, it gives you some room. This is the strategy that I use to pay my bills and pull myself out of the dumps and keep me going long enough to figure out how to trade other strategies in the market when I started trading full time. It's an awesome strategy. There are downsides to it. Number one, you need to have, I think, a level 3 or 4 on your broker for options, depending on your broker. I'm not sure which one it is, but it needs to be up there on your level. So just request it. You need to have a margin account. And you are risking a lot of money to make a little bit of money because the market's not going to give you anything for free. I have about a 91% win rate on my credit spreads. Awesome, right? I go, on average, I string about 30 to 40 credit spreads together, winners. So I have about 30 or 40 winners in a row before I have one or two losses. And my losses usually come in bunches. So I'll have like two losses in a row because I'm going to lose when the markets do something crazy. When the markets turn down hard and it causes everything to go down, that's normally when I lose. So how often does that happen? Every 4 or 5 months, right? So that's about when I lose. So I have rules in there to kind of help offset that. I also have rules that I can hedge, and I have a very specific plan. Again, this plan will be in a master's class coming out soon. So you can buy this plan. I'll teach you how to do everything about it. I'll teach you everything about credit spreads, and you can bring in consistent money in the market. That's what I do. I still do this strategy. This is my main strategy to help pay my bills every month. All right. So I am risking $5,000. You don't have to risk that much. I'm doing 10 contracts. You can do one contract, but your risk is the difference between these two strikes, your long strike and your short strike. So 475 is my short and 470 is my long. So it's $5 of risk. You've got to times that by 100 because with options, every contract is 100 shares. Okay. So you got to times it by 100. So $500 per contract with the risk. Well, I got paid 0.95, which is really good. I got paid 0.95 for this. Okay. What does that mean? I got paid $95 per contract of this. So I got paid $950 and I risked, give or take, I really didn't risk 5,000. It's a little bit less than that. It's around 4,000. But for simple purposes, I risked around $5,000. Okay. My goal on this is to be 10% or higher ROI. So that's how these credit spreads work. They're more advanced. They're not something you want to do starting out. And if you click the wrong button, you can guarantee yourself like a $3,000 loss. So it's not something you just want to go out there and do. You want to make sure that you understand what you're doing, what to press, how to do it. Because literally, if you buy this spread instead of sell the spread, you're looking at thousands of dollars in the toilet, guaranteed. Okay. So make sure you know what you're doing. Sign up for one-on-ones with me. I'll teach you how to do it. Go to my mentoring groups. I'll teach you how to do it. Beginners group is mainly focused on people that have no idea what options are. Intermediate group is where I assume you know what you're doing with options, and I'm just going to teach you all my strategies. So that's how we do that. One-on-one coaching, we'll just teach right at your level, whatever you want to do, wherever you're at. And then, like I said, coming out in the next few 2, 3, 4 months, I'll have a master class come out where you can just purchase it and we'll go over all of it. And you can just look at it over and over again. Cool. So that's the outcomes on Netflix trade. Any other questions? Let's keep them going. Keep it rolling. What's the SPY doing? We're getting some weird bearish volume on a lot of this stuff. Again, this volume most likely was more buyers down off of the support. And then we're getting follow through to the bull side. So that makes more sense. Does not look like we're going to be trapping today. How long are your mentor groups there? 1 hour once a week. Yep. So it depends on each I have them on different days for different things. But normally they're around 8 p.m. Eastern. And they last for 1 hour once a week. And we do that for 8 weeks. So your mentoring group covers 8 weeks, 8 sessions. Can I show you a Momo example? Yes. I don't trade Momo all that often. I'm not a very big swing trader. I don't love swing trades. Very profitable strategy, but for me, I have other things that I do. So I just can't be in everything. But yeah, I can show you some Momo. All right, so basically the Momo strategy, and I'm pretty sure you can look this up and find it, and this indicator is free. You just go to trend following Momo. pull it up, but you want to go onto a 78-minute chart, okay? And the arrow is going to tell you. So you'll get an alert when that arrow triggers bullish. You buy it, you bounce on up. For me, I don't use the bear arrow to tell me to get out. I actually just get out of the next resistance. So if we're playing this, I have a resistance here, I'd have been out. All right, you would have gotten in on this day, and got out. So that's a perfect example on Peloton of a win. So there's a Momo example for you, my friends. So you just set an alert on this guy. And as soon as that triggers long, you get an alert, you go ahead and set up your trade. You can buy it, and then you have your stop in place, and then you have 1R, and then you have 2R. There you go. Yeah. And just understand that everything works, just not all the time. For 2 months, Momo got absolutely crushed and lost like 30 Rs. But for the 6 months prior to that, Momo averaged like 20 Rs a month, profitable, right? So everything works, just not all the time. Every strategy in the market will have drawdowns, every single one of them. So it's, you got to just weigh that out. Don't think this is just the gravy train. Nothing is. Is this an extremely profitable strategy? Yes, it is. But also, will this have its drawdown months? Yes, stick with it. Cool. But yes, this is a very good way to learn what you're doing. And that's our whole point, to help pay for your strategy, pay for your education while you learn how to do it, so you can turn around and get going. Cool. All right. Just as would you do real trading live with one share to learn, or paper trading to learn? I like real live trading with real money. I prefer that over paper trading, because you're working on, almost as important as you're learning how to trade and strategies is learning how to control your emotions. But before you do anything, before you put on any trade, you need to have a plan, like the plan I just showed you. You could use that plan. I don't recommend that plan for beginners. It's a quick moving plan. But I would recommend getting a plan, having written down specific rules that tell you exactly what to do. When do you get out? When do you move your stop? Right? What exactly needs to happen before you set up a trade? What needs to happen in order for you to enter into a trade, right? Do we need to pull back to the 10 EMA on a 5-minute and then wait for a hammer? Whatever the case might be, you need to have specific rules. And you shouldn't have 25 setups a day. In fact, you'll probably have 2 setups a week, most likely. It's not going to be a trade this 55 times a day type strategy. You can be very specific, and the market's going to have to do very specific things in order for you to get in. Once you have that, back trade it hundreds of times. It's going to take you months. It's going to take a long time. You've got to get evidence behind you to figure out if this plan is even profitable. Too many people just show up and then go, well, sweet, I just, the past 2 trades have been working. I found the golden nugget. Say, no, that's not how it works. It might just be working right now in this specific market condition. But what happens when the market's pulling back hard? Does your strategy still work? What about when the market's sideways? Does your strategy still work? When this is a retest gap, does your strategy still work? If it's a gap and go, does your strategy still work? You need to get a wide variety of, instead of just a handful of, wow, this has worked 5 times in a row. Get a big picture of what exactly is happening, so that you can figure out, is this an actual long-term profitable strategy, or is this just a fluke for a week where it looks good? So don't back trade 3 weeks ago, back trade 10 years ago, and then back trade 5 years ago, and then back trade last year, and then back trade yesterday, and then, right, get a good variety sample with hundreds of back trades behind you to see if it's profitable. So that is where I would start. And that's where most people go, all right, well, thanks, because they're here for the quick money and they don't want to have to do anything. They just want free money. Just close my eyes and buy something. It's not how it works. You've got to put the time in. It's just like I can't become a doctor just by watching 3 YouTube videos. I've got to put 8 years of schooling in. It's going to take you months and months and months and months to get somewhat proficient in the markets. It's just how it is to learn a skill. Some are faster, some are slower. It took me 7 months. So I don't want to chase anyone. My goal is not to chase someone away, but I also don't want to sit up here and be like, I can make you $8 million in 3 weeks. It's not true. If you had a $3 million account, possibly. And even then, that's crazy. Maybe I should say if you had a $15 million account, yeah, I can make you $3 million. But realistically, this is what it's going to take. It's not a get rich quick. It's not a lottery ticket you can scratch off that just has a high probability of winning. It's a skill you've got to develop. But once you've developed that skill, man, you can use this to bring in money for the rest of your life. You can sit down, click a button, and change your life, your family's life, and the world. Literally make more money than a doctor makes by simply sitting down for an hour, finding a setup, clicking a button, and then going and enjoying your life. It's insane. It's nuts. It's awesome. But you've got to put the work in. It's just like anything. Any great athlete, any great Olympian, they've been training since they were 5 years old, right? All day long, every day, haven't had a life, haven't gone out to parties, haven't had time with their friends. They spend it in the gym from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day of their life, and they're homeschooled just for that one moment to go to the Olympics, right? That's how it is. That's how anything is. If you want to be great, you've got to put that work in. Everyone sees the big houses and they just go, oh, that guy's so lucky. No, 99% of those people that live in that big home neighborhood had to risk it all to start a business. They had to take risks. They had to do hard things. It wasn't easy, right? You had to earn it, blood, sweat, and tears for years, not just for a week or two or a month or two, but for years, right? My dad started a business. He started it by taking a second mortgage out on his home, taking out on top of that any dime he could get to barely get it going. For the first year, he hardly ever got paid just so he could have enough money to pay his drivers. We almost lost our house multiple times. This was all when I was in high school. My mom had to go start her own little thing and work just to try to keep us afloat because dad was spending 90 hours a week trying to keep the business alive, right? And they did that for 7-8 years. And now everyone looks at my dad living in a beautiful $2 million home, driving all these fun cars, and they go, oh, he's just a greedy rich dude. He earned it. And that's what the markets require. They require you to earn it. But once you earn it, your life is forever changed. So have that mentality. If you have that mentality going into the markets, you'll make it. If you have the mentality of, I want to be lazy and get money quick and be rich quick and do this quick and let's make $1 million tomorrow, all you're going to do is lose your money. And you're going to lose your money, and then you're going to lose your money, and then you're going to lose your money. It's not going to happen like that. The market's not going to reward that. Is there a chance? Yeah, but you might as well scratch a lotto ticket. That's the same probability. You might hit a home run early, but you will give it all up within a month or two, guaranteed. Almost 99% guaranteed. So anyways, that was a fun rant. Ford. Ford double bottom. Again, Ford looks like everything else right now, very extended for the past 3 days. So for me, in order to be really convinced that tons of buyers are going to come buy this up, I would need it maybe off of that support. If the day right now was down here, yes, I'd be really excited to go long. This very well could double bottom and go higher. I don't know. I don't know if it will. I think it's probably hit its target on the day. What kind of volume has come in here? Volume came in at the high and we pushed off of it. So you see this volume spike. So that usually means that the move is done. The bulls, if they had a chance, should have bounced it off of that. So I think the bulls are losing strength on Ford for today. Again, that same analysis we just looked at. you're just not going to go up 50% in 3 days without people jumping in and taking profits. So could this bounce out of here? Very well could. But even if it does bounce, you need to probably be out of this by like 14.30, 14.25, somewhere in here. I don't think we make a new high. But we did make a new low on this. No buyers came in on this, by the way. It's pretty weak. It's a nice reversal after the fact, but it kind of feels like we might go down one more time and then maybe bounce. Maybe. Let's see what we've got. Volume was pretty pathetic on this break. We'll see. Again, the markets can do whatever the heck they want. I'm just letting you know what I'm looking at. So once you've been trading for a while, you get an idea of, you start looking at other clues that tell you what is potentially about to happen. And I look at this and go, the bulls rampaged and we broke the bull trend. We should have gone right there. And we took out the higher low, broke it. I think we retest back up to it. And I think that's probably going to be about it. So again, the problem with this is, if you got in there with your stop down here, can you get a 1-to-1 to there? No, 1-to-1's up here. So you have to get your 1-to-1 target there. I think too many people get stuck in these trades and they go, how come it keeps missing my 1-hour target and then reversing and stopping me? It's because either you didn't get in low enough for a bull trade, or you just you're asking too much of the stock. So that'll help you out a little bit, my friend. But yes, definitely, this is a double bottom potentially setting up. I just think we get to here and that's it. Could we go higher? For sure. Netflix can do whatever the heck it wants. I mean, Ford can do whatever the heck it wants. From my experience, there's a good probability that we don't go much higher than that. I mean, maybe I think 14.30 is that's best case scenario. 14.25 would be amazing. 14.22 is probably realistic. But, and I'm like that on every stock right now. Every stock that has this pattern, I just don't trust this gap up. It needs to retest and then maybe go somewhere after whatever price this is. What is this? 13.74. Somewhere in that support, I think looks good. Problem is, everything looks like that right now. AMD, granted, AMD is a little bit better in the fact that yesterday we did pull back and then bounced out. At least we did that. So AMD at least retested. So it makes sense why that's going stronger. But, we look at the markets. Big day yesterday. Again, this wick doesn't exist, so just like erase that. So we gapped up, we rampaged, and then we gapped up again, and we're trying to rampage. I just don't trust it. But the market so far has proven me wrong. It's holding strong. It is not doing what I thought it would do. All right. Yeah, any other questions or thoughts, or you want me to look at any other trades for you, potential setups? Let me know. Happy to throw my little 2 cents at them. We're up 8% now on Ethereum. Good move. Tesla, are you bouncing yet? Yeah. So what do we think is going to happen at this resistance? Another pullback, and then the question is, do we bounce here and then go higher? Or do we just keep failing and then play in the channel? Can we check Allison's trade? What was that? Allison, do you mind posting your trade again? It probably got lost. Probably got lost. I don't see it. Or Florin, if you just want to copy it. Oh, on Slack. Allison's trade. Can we check Allison's trade? So you mean like back trade it? She has this thing posted here. Okay, so CVX. Get an idea of what this thing's doing. Okay. So same story as before as everything else. These 3 bull candles, trading just like the market. Bullish entry. Bullish limit buy is at 98.24 and 97.60. Actually, let's go back on this thing. $98.24 by 97.60. That was her trade setup. And she hasn't set it up yet. I think now she set it up and then waited for a retest on it, I think. Okay, she got a retest on. Got filled right away. Very nice. Hit 1R pretty much in 5 minutes. If I hit 1R in 5 minutes, I bring on a 3R target. So there's target 2. That's a good break. She had her stop moved up to there. My rules say I could actually move my stop up to here because that's 2 bear candle pullback and then a new high. So that's looking good. And that's where we're at right now. Okay, so my stop would be up here. I think she got out of it. All right. 1.2 RNC variance was going to hold for more, but we're on vacation. Oh, she's on vacation. So she got out of it. So basically what she did was a really good trade. So she looked and saw where was the entry at, right? Let's go back to here if I can do this. Okay. So opening candle is a bear candle. Sorry, bull candle, hammer-ish, followed by a bear candle, right? We broke out and then went lower. That's not looking good. And a bull candle. But now if we get back up above that bear candle, that would show a lot of strength from the bulls, right? Because now that hammer is going to start following through a little bit. There we go. We got back up above the bear candle. You see the increase on the bull volume. And then you get some follow through with another candle. So what she did was, well, that was the entry the first time. So that would be the entry the second time. And then she just waited patiently, got filled, and then took off to target. That's where we're at now. So that's basically her trade. Good trade, Allison. Jefferson, do you think this pullback on all indexes SPY is similar to top in early May, which dropped bounce for 2 days, then retested low before going higher? No. I don't know. These markets are ridiculously strong. The one thing that I know for a fact, though, is on a monthly, every time we get 10% away from this EMA, we come back to it. I just don't know when that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to be tomorrow, today, in a week, in a month. We will have a pullback, and it probably be steeper than people expect, because that's what happens. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bull months in a row almost. It's just a matter of when. And the daily is always going to look so good, right? This daily will probably make a new all-time high. We'll go to 450, and everyone's like, man, let's do this thing. And then that's normally how it goes. You're saying, is it similar to May, to early May? Right here. It could be similar to that. And this trend has been very strong. It's been working. We've been bouncing off the 50 on a weekly very consistently. Said I bought puts and then I got out of those puts over there. On this day, I sold puts against it. So that those puts basically locked in any profit going up. So who knows? Like I said, we very well could keep going higher, but the higher we go, the more pressure's on that rubber band, the more we're stretching that rubber band. We're too far from those EMAs. So if we keep going, it's going to be a bloodbath. So that's where we're at. Again, that's just my opinion, but historically, that's what the markets have always done on a monthly chart. Whenever we're on our 6th or 7th bull month in a row, look out. Time for a pullback. And it's not the end of the world. It's not like the market's going to crash and never come back. It's just they need to retest and get back up. But stocks don't go up. Exactly. Pin Duo. Did it hit our 2 Rs yet? Almost. Almost. Nice hammer there. Retest it and just keep on going. That was some, let's see, a pretty weak volume on that high, so it makes sense we go higher. That's 2 Rs, we just couldn't quite get the pullback. All right. Keep those questions flowing. What else you all got? Gotta be something else. I can keep looking for some more trades. Run some scans. See what we get. Jeff, good question, man. Yeah, so my favorite indicators I use. So I use the RSI a lot. I use volume. And then I have EMAs. So I have the 10, the 20, the 50, the 200. And then I have the 60 on there right now, but that's mainly just for one of my strategies. How do I use them? So we'll start with the EMAs. Why do I have these EMAs on? Because I want to see what patterns form off of the EMAs. The EMAs are a good reader of strength. So right here in this trend, you can see we've bounced off of this 10 EMA, the dark line right here. We did it there, we did it there, we did it here. We broke it there and then bounced off the 20. Okay, great. Came back up, pulled back down, and then broke the 10 again, went to the 20. So again, I'm starting to look at this and going, we're losing a little bit of strength, but it's still strong. We want to keep an eye on that. So then we start to rampage up and we pulled back down to the 10, right? And then we bounced hard. So as soon as this trend gets up here and these EMAs get up here, and then we break the 20 and close below it, what does that tell me? Bulls are not as strong as they were previously, right? It's running out of steam. So I can use the EMAs to get an idea of how strong something still is. Once we're trending and we're bouncing off of the EMA, as soon as we stop bouncing off that EMA, I know, okay, this move is probably done. So that's how I use the EMAs. I do the same thing on a daily, same thing on a weekly. I want to see what it's previously been bouncing off of, and then I'm using that to gauge strength. Why does that work? Because the markets are just a self-fulfilling prophecy. People go, you buy it off the 10 EMA. So that's why people buy it off the 10 EMA. And then it works. And so more people go, I'm going to buy it off the 10 EMA. So when it pulls back, they buy it. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everything in the market is, right? Why do fib retracements work? Because people know you buy it off of this fib and then it works because people buy it off the fib, right? So that's how I use EMAs. RSI, I use RSI to give me an idea of where we're at. So when we start pushing, I know not to buy up here. Why? Because the RSI is overbought. Can we go higher? Yeah, the RSI is not telling me it's time, it's the time for the reversal. The RSI is telling me it's not time to buy. Wait for the pullback. It's the same thing on the short side. Let's see if I can find a short. There we go. So how do I know not to short this right here? RSI is oversold. If I want to short this, wait for a pullback up and then short it here and write it down. Will it work? Don't know. But this is just another thing to help confirm to me, right? So that's how I use RSI in a general sense. I use it for other things as well, for divergence, conversions, all this other stuff. But simply put, that's what I use it for. Helps me not get caught buying too high or shorting too low. My last one is volume. I love volume. I don't think I could trade without volume. Volume helps me see where the levels are at. If we come down and bounce and there's no volume, I don't really respect this level and I don't trust this bounce. Odds are we're probably going lower. If we come down and bounce and there's huge volume, okay, I'm going to respect this level. And if we go lower, I still think the bounce is probably very close. So I'm not going to be shorting that down here after a big move down, right? Volume can tell you a lot of things. After we've been pushing up for a lot, if big volume comes in, I'm expecting within the next 15 minutes or so a pullback. So if you're in on this trade, you can now go, all right, I'm up. I'm going to tell my brain what's about to happen. Big volume just came in. I'm not at my target yet, but a pullback is going to come and that's okay. It's normal. So that way, when the pullback comes and that big bear candle comes in and your brain starts to go, oh my gosh, get out. You're going to zero, right? As soon as that starts to happen, you start to freak. Your brain will say, no, you told me this would happen. It's okay. We'll bounce. And you stay in the trade. So that's how I use volume. So that's basically a quick rundown of a few of the indicators that I use and how I use them. Rest is look for trades. So far, there haven't been any trades through this room. Let's see some examples. Yep. And rest, honestly, that's probably the best thing about real life trading is we show you exactly what real life trading is. Real life trading is 90% sitting on your hands and being bored and 10% jumping on top of a really good setup. And the rest of the time, you're just waiting for the setups to happen. Right? We had a setup this morning on Pinduoduo, didn't listen to me, didn't pull back far enough, and just took off. Okay. So do I go ahead and just buy it up here now? Why the heck would I buy it up here when an hour or two ago I wanted to buy it down here? That's called chasing. If I wanted to buy it up here, why didn't I just buy it up here when the candle was up there? I will keep looking for, I am running scans right now to look for any potential setups. So far, my last two scans haven't shown anything. So I have scans that I've created basically just for my strategies. I just use it through my broker. Most brokers have scanning tools that you can kind of create. Cool. All right. So I've got a couple 15-minute hammer scans that just came up. Let's look at them and see if anything looks good. To a 15-minute chart. And these hammers could have happened any time today. So there's one in the pre-market. Moved up. What does this volume tell you right here? So we just talked about that. Big increase in volume after a lot of bull candle moves up. What does that mean? Expect a pullback. right? So when, here, I'll go back in time so it's easier to see. All right. So it's moving, it's moving, it's moving, and then you get that volume coming in. See this increase in volume right here? Bigger increase after quite a few bull candles in a row. What does that mean? It means there's a lot of people taking profits. It could be a lot of new traders getting in. It could be some shorts getting in, but you're having a lot of transactions. Transactions tell you this is a pivot point. This is a level, a resistance. I'm expecting a pullback soon with that kind of volume coming in. There's your pullback. So was this shocking for you? No, because you told yourself it was going to happen. Let it S curve and go higher. And this is where we're at right now. So that's a good example. DraftKings, I don't really see anything right now that I love. So we'll keep moving. Kroger, I don't see any great hammers. It's saying this is a hammer here, which I guess is true, kind of. I don't know if that looks quite long enough, but I'm not impressed with it. So we'll wait. IBM we had on our list yesterday. There's a hammer right there. Not super impressed with it. Good. All right. This is a hammer. Is it an inside candle as well? What's the high of this guy? 1242. 1242. Those are tweezers. One of my favorite setups is a hammer and then followed by an inside candle. And that's what this setup is. So you'd like to see a move lower. I would prefer this to be in a bull trend. It's not. It's just sideways. And this is what's going to make me pass on this trade probably. Because of all these EMAs right here that we're into, I think target's pretty much already been hit. Yeah, I'm going to pass on this one. Mickey D's. Whenever you see a stock that does this, really good push, lots of bull candles in a row on a 5-minute out the gate, and then does nothing, don't try to buy the bullish bounce. It will come, but it's usually not that big of a bounce, and it usually stops you out before it starts to bounce. So if you look back and say, where should we have bounced? It should have been right there. And normally volume will come in whenever it breaks the spot that it should have bounced at. We have a big, there we go. So it comes down. This is where we should have bounced. We broke lower, and actually volume was just not really there. Normally you'll see an increase in volume whenever we break that spot that we should have bounced at. But yeah, this should have been it right here. Off the 10 EMA, should have gone. Did not. So yeah, I'm going to pass on this guy. Also, if a hammer forms and you immediately take it out, don't trust another hammer down here. You need something else. It's another little trick. Again, does it work every time? No, but it will save you quite a few times. Rest, my man, it's just, there's not much happening right now. I don't mind another short on the markets, but it'd have to be a really good setup. I love this trap that came in. I tried to short a big move yesterday on the markets, and we did make half an hour. It was a good trade, but they're just so stinking strong. It's really tough to go against. Curious to see if we do hold this trend or not. So our higher low is right here. So we're still bullish until we take that out. If we take that out and close below it, I would say the bull move is done. We're chilling on that. Qs still look very strong. Qs look good. I expect the Qs to start pulling back into these EMAs again, and then see if we get another bounce. But we did try to get above the high, I think. We did make it. Yeah, and volume came in there. So we did get above the high of yesterday's candle on the Qs. Let's see if Tesla pulled back and bounced like we said it would, or if it just fell off again. Looks like we just fell off again. It's going to chop sideways. So Tesla bounced. We should have come down here and done that. So it looks like we're just holding the trend. Can we do some more of our interactive back trading? Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm down for sure. Let's do it. Give me just a 2-minute break here real quick. Get my eyes off this screen, top off my water. We'll come back and we'll do some back trading together. Sound good? I'll be right back.
All right, I'm back. Okay. We'll get into some back trading in just a second. Let's look at what the SPY just did here. Okay. We're bouncing off of the 10, bounced off the 10, closed strong below the 10. Letting you know that the bulls are not as strong in this area. Goes to the 20 and bounces off the 20. Great. Holds the 10. Comes down, crushes below the 10 again, and below the 20 EMA. These signs right here, if I was in on this trade, I would start looking to take more. I'd play a little more defense, so to say. If my 2R was up here, I'd probably be taking a little bit more here, lower, raising my stop up to there. Those are signs that the trend is starting to fail. Could it go much higher? Of course, like always. Now, I'm always going to throw that disclaimer in there. But in a strong trend, that shouldn't happen. So, just throwing it out there. All right. Let's do a little bit of back trading on the SPY. We haven't done that in a hot minute. I'm going to pick a random date. So let's just take this off of my chart. We're going to go back. Here, go to a 5 minute. Go to here. All right. So we are going to I'm going to fast forward until I think I see a potential setup. And then I'll throw it out there and say, does anyone want to take this trade? Does anyone see a trade they want to take? Know that I might be messing with you. There might not be a setup there that I would look at, right? So you can either say pass, no setup, or you could say yes, and then throw me your numbers. So if you're going to get in at 425.60 and your stop's going to be at 425.20, right? Throw me your numbers of what it is, and then I will throw you on the board. And so multiple people can be getting in, might be different setups, and then we'll just keep track of it that way. So it's a pretty fun way of back trading. Well, that for the next 10, 15 minutes, and then my time is up, and I have to go jump into that other room. All right, let's do this thing. So opening candle is a big old strong bear candle. Another one. And again, I don't really know what's going on right now. Zoom out just a little bit. Okay. All right. One out. Okay, does anyone have any setups they would like to throw on this right now? Or you can just write pass. Any setups you want. I'm not going to say anything. And I'll be taking setups, but I'll tell you after everyone says it. Albert's a pass. Donna's a pass. Lucian's a pass. Anyone else? I'll usually give this about 10 seconds or so. Give you a chance to get in if you want it. All right. I'm going to pass on this as well. I'm going to wait a few more candles to come in to see if we reverse or this bear trend continues. It looks like we've made quite a bit of a move on this past week or so that we've been looking at trading. So, all right, let's fast forward this and see what happens. Leah, throw me your numbers, whatever you're looking at. Is that a high wave candle? It is. Yep. This is an indecision candle. So indecision candle is you open up here. The bulls, it could go either way, but let's say for this as an example, the bulls run with it and they get to a certain point, and then the bears kick their butts and the bears take over. And the bears run it down, and then the bulls take over and go right back, and it basically finishes around where it opened. So a doji is when it actually closes right where it opens. But a high wave candle is an indecision candle. It's got a body on it, but it also didn't really give you any direction. So Ria's throwing a trade out here. 425.10, 425.50. She's going short. 425.10, 425.50. And this is Ria's trade. Okay. I'm still not putting anything on this yet. I'm going to be patient and see what happens. Rhea, I don't think you're filled yet. Okay. Rhea, are you leaving yours open or are you canceling it? Cancel. Just missed Rhea. That probably would have got close to 1R right now. That for sure would have been at 1R for Rhea. Just missed it. Okay. Any potential setups right now? Just write pass. Rhea's going to pass. Lucian's going to pass. Okay. Donna's going to pass. Marley's going to pass. Ken's passing. Everyone's passing on this one. This is a little bit aggressive of a trade, and I'm going to see if I can get a risk reward. I might be trying to fade this back up into this EMA. This is a good support zone. I like the increase in volume that just came in. It's a good volume, and try to get the break above it. Let's see if this will give me a risk reward back to that. Back to the EMAs. 1R is right there. So my 1R target is that EMA. All right. I'll probably be taking 80% at 1R. Is this where I want my stop? Right at that. I might as well go a little bit lower. Let's see is that too much now? Should be all right. So this is a really aggressive trade off of a support zone. I'm not getting the volume that I want, but I'm only really going for 1R here. It'd be tough to lose small. I do think it could maybe dip one more time. Yeah, I'll put this trade on. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it did trigger me in and pulled lower. That's not great. I don't like that at all. All right, we're still hanging out. Still hanging out. I'm not getting the buying that I want. And now that 10 EMA went way lower. Stop still staying the same, but it's probably going to be stopping me out. Yep, stop me out. That kind of sucked. Had a chance with it. Oh, lost an R for me. All right, let's keep fast forwarding and see if any other setups come. All right, any other setups? Not, yes, it's not worse. It's the same, man. It's the same, bro. There's nothing bad about losing on a trade. It's only bad if you care about money. If you're like, man, that would suck terribly to lose money for me. I don't care if I lose money. So it's the same, man. It's just a trade. It's just the process. Lucian, throw me some numbers, man. It's just the process, right? I know that I have about a 40, what is it? Depending on the strategy, let's just say on average, I have about a 46% win rate. So I know for a fact I'm going to lose on tons of trades. I'm going to lose on tons of trades. And at the end of the year, I'm still going to be very profitable, right? So chalk it on up for one of the losing trades, right? Albert wants to see more. All right, Lucian. Yeah, like I said, man, throw me some numbers. What do you got? Long, you said above this, so I know exactly where you're at. There we go. 424.25. Okay. And then your stop, 423.80. Is this our reversal? Did it get low enough on the R side? Did not get low enough yet. I needed to get down to 22 and only got to 23. Are you doing 1R or 2R, or what are you planning on doing here? 1R. Okay, 1R target on this guy. Let's see what happens. You're not filled yet. You're filled. It's a good fill on building volume. That looks good. Not the greatest candle I've ever seen. Stopped out. Today was not the day to go long. Not the day to go long. Okay, does anyone have a setup right here? Is it a pass, or do you guys have a setup that you want to take? Darian's a pass. TS is going to short below 424.15. Where's your stop at, my friend? 424.15. That's where the price already is. So I'm going to put you just a little bit lower. It's probably hard to see. And then 424.35. All right. So that is TS. That's your trade. Ria's doing 424.30. By 423.70. Oh, okay, Ria's going long. Cool. 30 by 423.70. All right, those are the trades. I'm going to pass on this one. All right, my friends. TS, you are triggered in, homie. There's your stop. It's probably the last one I'll get to do before I jump in that other room. Let's go. Oh, you got stopped out. And Ree got triggered in. TS, that's all good, bro. Join the party of losing trades with me, my friend. And then it starts to work for you. That sucks. Rhea, you are already in this trade. And Rhea hit 1R. Boom. All right, where's your 2R at? There was the bounce we were all waiting on. 2R's up there. Rhea says, a woohoo-hoo. And it's getting close to the end of the day, but oh. Didn't quite get there. Probably got trailed out right there. Yeah, this is a good trap. He said if you want to wait for a trap usually to give you an idea of it's that catalyst for a push, right? He says golf for everyone. Bria knows what gift to give us. Good times. All right, let's fast forward one more day. We'll do one more morning and then okay, there's the opening candle on that inside candle. All right. Okay. Let's see if there's interesting break. All right, is there a setup on this right here? I know it's probably hard to see. Anyone got this? Any setups on this? Lucian's going to pass. Rhea has got a short. Rhea's like, I got money to burn. 424.50 by 424.85. Okay, there's Rhea set up. Darian's going to pass. So we just got done talking about traps, how they could be a really good catalyst, right? For me, again, I don't really have a plan around this. I'm kind of thinking short down below this potential trapping candle. I don't know if there's a good risk reward. My 1R has to be there, which means I probably have to put my stop there. Probably pass on this. It's just too aggressive, but all right, I'd be filled on that. It probably would have missed my 1R. Rhea's not in yet. Oh, there'd be a 1R for me right there. That was a pretty aggressive trade. Rhea's triggered in. Let's see, Rhea's 1R is there. Back into that low. Does she get? She got it. Rhea's queen, crushing life with 1R. Where's your 2R at? That is a 2R trade, my friend. What a good way to end. That's what I'm talking about. Would that have stopped out my original? No, I think I would have stayed alive. I would have stayed alive for it to go down to 2Rs. He says, more golf. All right. That was fun, everyone. Thanks for back trading a little bit. It's time for me to jump off. I got to get to that other room. So, let's see, Dan's in the house. Oh, you guys get to hang out with Dan.
What is up, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Tones McGone's rocking it for solid 3 hours. Killer, man, killer.
You know it. You know it. Ready to take anything today?
Yeah, I traded Tesla. I'll do a quick screen share.
Yeah, you can take over. I'll stop sharing.
Let's see, right here. So on Tesla, which I wish I would have shorted down here, but I played this little double bottom and I made decent amount of orage for some porridge into this move here, and then I also traded DraftKings a little bit earlier today.
Cool.
Which was a little bit of a win. So I just a little bit of consolidation forming, and then I took the breakout like right here. So I had a decent little win on that. But those were the only two I took today.
Nice.
So
good little winning day. We tried Pinduo do it, never pulled back to us, and still just cranking. So that's pretty much all we've tried. And we've just been having some fun and back trading. So it's been a good day.
Yeah, man. Awesome. And I think I'll check the Slack, but I think Jeremy was in a couple of trades. So I'm not quite positive. I wasn't following those two too closely. But
okay.
Yeah, man. Awesome. I'll keep a lookout, see if we find anything after afternoon. What do you think about the SPY? Think we keep running or pullback is inevitable?
I've been saying this all day. I think it's going to pull back, but it just keeps going. So I don't know. I don't really trust it. But we'll see.
All right. Sounds good. Awesome.
Cool. We'll see, man. Bye, guys.
All right. What is up, boys and girls, ladies and